Welcome to the Braden and Blitz. This is Jason Dill.
I'm David Wilson.
And let's get right into it. This week's Week 8 action. We want to start with Venice at Braden River. That's the big one. Venice ranked number 2 in Class 7A. Braden River is ranked number 3 in Class 7A in the latest Associated Press poll after St. Thomas Aquinas, who everybody here in Manatee County knows, has kind of beaten up on Manatee High over the years. They're the ones that kind of lost this past week, so they dropped down in the rankings, and this kind of makes it into a bigger showdown than it already was. It already was kind of a big game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was already looked like, if not the marquee game in 7A this season, definitely one of them. Winner will obviously have inside track on winning the district. Should be a good one. There's two great defenses. I believe Venice has allowed 25 points. Braden River's allowed 38. Two pretty good offenses, each scored about 250 points. I mean, they're both two really good teams, two of the best in the class and in the district.
Yeah, and I think for to me, the real key to this game is going to be how is Braden River going to stop Jared Hewitt, who's going to Rutgers.
Right.
He has 9 sacks on the year already. He has, I believe, 20-something sacks going back to last year.
Yeah, from the middle of the line. That's pretty impressive.
And he's a big guy. He's one of those guys that's probably would get a lot more looks from a lot of other Division I programs based on size. I think he's on the smaller size scale for defensive linemen, but he's a beast, and it's going to take at least 2 bodies to stop him. So when you do that, what's going to happen to the rest of the line? How is Braden River going to stop? If they're going to double team him, how are they going to be able to focus and make sure that they get enough blocking for Jacob Huseman in the pocket and Raymond Thomas to do some running room?
Yeah, and that's the one big key. And the other thing, we still don't know who the 2 players for Braden River who are suspended for this game. They didn't play this past week, so we didn't get an idea.
There's lots of rumors out there. I'll say that.
Right.
I'm not sure.
But we don't know for sure.
Right.
That could obviously have an impact on this game as well.
Well, as we've talked about already, that District 11, that's going to be unveiled who's going to go to the playoffs in the next 3 weeks between those 2 teams that are playing this week. But don't forget about Palmetto. They're also undefeated in that district. Their only loss, as we talked about, a narrow 1-point loss to Manatee in the waning seconds of their game earlier this year. Palmetto's rolling along. They also were on a bye last week. They play the team that Braden River got in the scuffle after the game with, Northport. Homecoming should be an easy cakewalk game for the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want it to be a trap ahead of they have Braden River the following weekend, but I would expect that Palmetto should be able to take care of this easily. And the other district game, Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota, an elimination game.
I don't think even whoever wins that game,
it's going to be tough to leapfrog Palmetto.
I think they're staying. Yeah, they're basically going to keep elimination for another week type of thing. But yeah, so let's roll down. Class 8A first off, Manatee. They can do pretty much get themselves closer to a playoff berth by going down to Riverview and in Sarasota and beating them. We have a district that has 2 Riverviews, Riverview in Riverview, Florida, and Riverview in Sarasota. So we have to differentiate. But yeah, the Hurricanes should, in my opinion, easily roll through the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the past 2 weeks, they're clearly still the best team in that district. 2 huge wins against Steinbrenner and Palm Harbor, which looked like they were the second and third best team in the district, and they were both games with the running clocks in the second half.
I'm looking forward to the Lemon Bay game at Southeast. Southeast is rolling along. Kevin Johnson is just a man possessed right now.
Yeah,
he's easily the best running back.
1,000 yards.
Yeah, obviously he's the best running back in the county right now. If you're looking purely off of rushing yardage totals, 247 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, and he's now 3 straight games with 100 yards rushing on the year, 4 overall for the season, 81 yards shy of 1,000 for the season. That's monumental. They're going to need him to, if Southeast can get through Lemon Bay, which I think they will, based on what we saw. Lemon Bay played Cardinal Mooney pretty close, winning by 4. Southeast just beat Cardinal Mooney by 21 points. So if we're using the common opponent theme argument that the Knolls should roll through, and if that happens, Hardee, which goes to Bayshore, which we expect Hardee to win, that could set up a district championship game next week.
Yeah, and like
the week after.
I mean, you touched on Kevin Johnson. I mean, he's been the best player in the county for the past few weeks offensively, at least in terms of skill positions. I mean, he's getting stronger as the season goes on, and if he keeps rolling like this, then it's going to be tough for someone in that district to beat Southeast.
And Cardinal Mooney fans shouldn't really get too worried. They only have 1 win on the year, but if they beat St. Pete Catholic in St. Pete, which just lost to ODA, blowing a 19-point fourth quarter lead, then the Cougars are pretty much assured of they are playoff bound because we're expecting Clearwater Central Catholic to win the other district game against Calvary Christian.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, they're 1-5, but it reminds you that really all that matters is your district games ultimately. And yeah, they can get into the postseason despite, I guess, what would probably be considered a disappointing season for them so far.
Sure. Rapid fire. Who do you think is going to win the following games? Sefner Christian at Braden Christian.
I'll take Braden and Christian. It should be a close one, though. Braden and Christian, their offense looks like it's going right now. Dominic Ateni, over 100 yards rushing in the past 2 games. He's become a real dual threat for them.
I like BCS. Carroll Woodday. I like at ODA. Who do you like?
Carroll Woodday. I mean, they're one of the best teams in that class. And ODA, despite the win last week, they're not at that level.
And finally, we have a non-district game, but it's a conference game because St. Stephen's is independent. They just come off a disappointing loss at Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic. They're at Zephyr Hills Christian. I like St. Stephen's.
Yeah, me too. They need to win this to lock up the number 2 seed in that conference and clinch a playoff berth.
Well, this has been the Braden and Blitz. This is Jason Dill.
I'm David Wilson.
Catch you on the flip side.